Hey guys, welcome to the channel. Today I'm gonna teaching you how to export your lovable code to GitHub. So this is very simple. Something people also find difficult is how to host their lovable website uh, outside of Lovable. This is very important because there are so many ways to host a website for free. You don't have to pay Lovable to keep the code here, and also you have more control when you host your website externally because you can then edit your website using other Vibecoding tools like Cursor. You can host it locally on your laptop. I'm going to make a tutorial about that as well. So here is a sample website that was built with Lovable, and you can see the code here. Basically, you notice that you're not able to export all of this code. However, Lovable actually makes it easy to export your code. So what you have to do is click on. So basically, first requirement, you need to have a GitHub account. So if you don't have a GitHub account, go ahead and register for an account. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to create any repository. What you have to first do is click on this icon and click on connect to GitHub. And when you click on connect to GitHub, then this button appears. You click on connect project. This is my already connected GitHub account. So I'm going to select the account, and it says it's going to move only the instance of this repository to GitHub organization. So it's basically telling you that your code is going to leave Lovable and it's going to now reside on GitHub. So um, it's basically telling you that you cannot import codes from GitHub to Lovable, but you can take your code out of Lovable to GitHub. So that's perfectly fine. So you click on transfer anyway, and then it just uploads all of the code for you. And then you ensure two things: that your code is private. You don't want to expose your code to the public because GitHub is like everyone is deploying public codes here, left, right, and center, and poses a lot of security risk if you make your code public. So ensure you check it, view on GitHub. So I have another GitHub account logged in. I'm just gonna switch it to back to the one connected to Lovable, and then I can see the code and I can see that it's private, so everything is fine. So if you wish to do some cleanups, because here is what happens when you export codes from Lovable, notice that Lovable has some of their own configurations there, which makes everybody know that your code was built with Lovable. So basically, just click on Edit File here and just add your own README, or just basically delete the README from Lovable, and then you can commit your changes. So what does commit changes mean? It means that any change you make on your GitHub also Lovable syncs these changes. So if you go back to your Lovable chart, you notice that the change we just made to README has been synced to Lovable. So anywhere else you have edited this code, maybe you import it to Cursor or you import it to Bolt, any external place where you edit this code, Lovable is registering these changes as well, which is very good. So if you want to do some basic changes with Lovable, you can continue from where you stop. So if I go back to the code, everything is fine. So if you're very new to GitHub, make sure you click on settings and understand the things you can do. You understand that you can transfer your code. Let's say, for example, you want to transfer your project to your client and they need it to be on their own GitHub account. This is where you can transfer ownership and stuff. Um, Moving forward, so that is basically the first, the easier part, right? Which means that you have exported your code and it's now on GitHub, meaning that if you go to your code and you need to get the source code, everything, and you want to download it, you then come here and click on download zip, then you have all of your code locally. However, this is not the most ideal thing to do, because what you would then do is you need to create a local repository and continue working, but that's not the extent of this tutorial. But this is basically how to export your code from Lovable and how to download all of your code in bulk. Now, moving forward, you want to then host your website out of Lovable. So you don't want your website to be using this Lovable publish link and stuff. You don't want to pay for lovable hosting, or you don't want to use lovable hosting because you know that your site has a lot of customers, a lot of visitors and stuff. Now what you have to do is very simple. So there are like hundreds of free platforms where you can host your website for free, because lovable use a technology called static websites, which basically JavaScript type of websites that are basically static, not server side. So basically, it means that there are platforms that allows you to use their resources for free, and because it doesn't cost anything to them, because it's a static website, right? So one of those platforms is Vercel, for example. So if it's just a basic site, if it's just a simple landing page, you can host your website, your project for free, because it's not receiving a lot of traffic. You can also explore Netlify, Netlify to host a website. Most people prefer Netlify because if you look at the pricing of the two, you notice that Netlify is cheaper, and also it offers more bandwidth and build limits. So if you don't have any of these accounts, you quickly create one. However, for me, when your project is getting bigger and bigger, you also need to then move away from these free hosting platforms. Then you can begin to explore the likes of Zibor or Railway. These are platforms that are also affordable, and then they allow you to host more heavy stuff, because these platforms also they use what we call serverless and edge functions. And once you get hooked to their services, these serverless and edge functions are limited to what you can do in free plan. So you're hooked to it. So be very, very careful. However, for now, if your website is very simple and straightforward, what you have to do is, for example, if it's Netlify, click on login, log into your Netlify account. Once you're login, you log in with GitHub, and you connect to your GitHub connected account. So what you have to do is very simple and straightforward. Your code is already on GitHub. You've tested it that the preview is working on Lovable and stuff the site is live, so no errors in deployment. So what you have to do is add a new project. So you click on import an existing project, then you click on GitHub. So when you click on GitHub, you continue, and to authenticate your GitHub account. And once you authenticate, all of your hosted repository on GitHub will be there. So if I were to say I want to import the code I just deployed on Lovable, that I just moved from Lovable to GitHub, I click on that repository, it comes out on my Netlify. Then you click on continue, and then you name your project basically Boros, and then so you leave all of these ones because it can automatically read the start command of your code, and it will put it there, and then you don't have to do anything. If your code uses environmental variables, basically these are safe places where important API keys are stored, then you need to add an here. So my time is running out. I'm just gonna click on deploy. That's all you have to do. Once you click on deploy, you get a temporary URL from Netlify, and that's where your new website will reside. So continuing from where I stopped, so my app is now deployed. So I'm gonna get a temporary URL, just like Lovable normally give you. So you click on the URL, and then you see that, bam, your site is now hosted outside of Lovable. Um, and then any change you make on the repository also automatically deploys to this URL. Just like when you make change to Lovable, Lovable deploys it to a URL for you. You see the changes, exactly that. It's going to be happening. So what do you have to do next? Click on add your domain name. Click on domain management, basically, and add a domain name by connecting it to example. If your domain name is this, then you simply add the domain name, and then you get the DNS settings for the domain name. So basically, go back to your domain hosting and add these DNS settings. And once you're done, then your domain name continues to show where your app is hosted. So the beauty of having your code on GitHub is so beautiful because this is one free hosting platform I've just used. I can go to Vercel, for example, and click on login again. The same process, basically, I continue with GitHub and I authorize my GitHub account. So basically, these platforms work the same way when you want to deploy stuff. I click on add new stuff, add new project. So once I click on add new project, so basically, it loads all of my repository from GitHub, and I just click on import. Now, these are already filled in for you, right? Because basically, um, it knows the framework you're using, JavaScript framework you're using. As I said, if you ever used, it's not a thing Lovable does because they store all your keys on Supabase. But if you ever use environmental variables, it can be something like open a AI key because your code connects to your environmental variables because this is the most secure way to secure your API keys. You should not store API keys on your code base itself. You should store it as an environmental variable, which is called by the code and then used for any API call. So that's what this is about. So for now, this code does not use it. As simple as just clicking deploy, and then the same process. You're gonna get a temporary URL, and then you're gonna connect your domain name. It's that simple, to be honest. It's not so complicated. Now, if you need tutorial on how to then run your code locally on your laptop, that is one of the best method of deploying because look, you can say it's easy because you're online, and then you can see the code live online. Why do you have to deploy it locally on your laptop? You will soon understand once I make a tutorial about it. Because basically, your code can run offline. It can make database calls offline, right? So you can continue deploying and making tests. When you're done, that's when you should push your code online. Because right now, if this were to be a live website and you were making changes from Lovable, you all know how Vibecoding can destroy your progress. Now, if your website has been live and then you push it, then it fucks it up, right? So you have to be very, very careful. So that's it. This is Vercel temporary URL, which is also a free hosting platform for static websites. So basically, once you're done, you basically click on your project. So I'm going to find the project I just deployed, which is this one. You click on your project. and then you click on settings, and then you would find the domain name settings. So basically, you add a domain to your project, and then you get a URL as well. And then, sorry, you get a DNS settings that you can use to configure your domain. So when you click on this, you get the DNS settings that you can use to verify your domain, then get connected. And then when you load your domain name, it loads basically your website. And when you're done, remember to remove the temporary code. Remember to remove it for SEO. So if you have any question exporting your website to other platforms for more control, hosting it on GitHub, please leave your comment in the comment section. There are like hundreds of these platforms that allows you to host stuff for free. But these are like, yeah, basically the most popular ones. If you need more of that, these platforms, I'm happy to make a video on them. And then, yeah, basically most of times, company websites are now being hosted for free because basically they are like using serverless technology that allows free hosting. So if you like this tutorial and you need more stuff like this relating to AI, pipe coding, making money with AI, please subscribe to this platform. We founded AI Free Forever, which is basically a platform that allows you to generate stuff with AI for free. We have a free chat GPT which you can use basically to do whatever you want. We can create assistance for you for vibe coders to enhance your prompt. It's basically something people also face. We can build tools for you that you can use for free, basically to help you plan your SaaS project. So this is our platform, but this is our YouTube channel. Remember to subscribe. We create more tutorials like this to help you. If you have questions, please drop it in the comment section, and see you in next one.